Okay, this is a journal that is complete and ready to go. It's the perfect gift for Father's Day. It's a railway journal, so I've decorated the seam or the spine here because there was a tiny little anomaly and I wanted to kind of reinforce the lower portion of it. So anyway, it's a single signature junk journal because it's thin. It's a small book, or it was a small book, called The Ghost Train. So here we go. This was fun. I picked up most of my railway ephemera from Susie Blankenship at Paper Harbor Co. and Madison at Mad Fox Studio. I will put the links in the description below. So anyway, this was a little postcard that I picked up recently in a scrapbook I bought. So I'm going to try and keep the chatter to a minimum. I say that, but it never works out. I thought this fabric kind of replicated the whole coveralls of an engineer on the railway. So it's vintage fabric that I've also smeared a little with some tea stain, and the fabric that I used to reinforce the spine is sort of masculine. So I tried not to be too frou-frou and feminine in this. And yeah, so there's bits of railway ephemera throughout, and little mini sort of collage spots. This is a little safety pin thing. I clipped together some railway ephemera, tucked it behind this little pocket that I made. So this is from a time book, I guess you would call it. The engineer would keep track of his time. So it's just full of little spots of railway ephemera, little photographs. And as always, I've tried to keep 95% of it authentic, vintage. Also left plenty of room for writing spots. So this has little bits of railway ephemera in it. I don't know where I got these game cards, but I have a few of them and they're really kind of fun. So this is French Père Marquette Railway System. I think it might be French-Canadian, but at any rate, it's a combination of my two favorite things, French and railway. Another pocket with assorted, there's a little illustration from a cute little book I have about trains, which I will be using those illustrations. And I have another one of this exact book, The Ghost Train, which I'm going to make into another book, another junk journal for Father's Day. So this is the first one. And when I'm making a themed junk journal, I try to keep an eye out for things that will work, because I like every page to fit with the brief of railway or France. This is the dust cover for the book, which I have, converted into, oops, got paper clipped here, converted into a pocket or a flip out. It can be unclipped and can be flipped out, and then you can write here. It could be a secret spot for journaling. Vintage paper for journaling. This is very fragile, old cursive paper for when children would learn how to write. I bought these tickets from either Susie or Madison, I can't remember who, specifically because it said Ghost Train, and I knew I wanted to tie that in with Ghost Train on the cover. So it's just little teeny things like that that just kind of, I'm always trying to keep an eye out for. Something that can tie the whole thing together, just small details. So I love this paper. I don't think I have any of it left now. With stationery. A blueprint. I believe that's from Madison, if I remember correctly. At any rate, it's clipped. There's stuff here. I don't want to unclip everything because then I have to put it back together, and I love these old vintage illustrations. But the main reason I got this is because this is a poem from an old children's book called The Switchyard, which is where railways go to switch lines. This is one of those envelopes from the Atlantic Coast Railway. A little boy reading about the adventures he wants to take on the railway. Maybe there's a side pocket there. And this would go in the top pocket there. This is car touring card, but you got to take the car to get to the railway, right? So, anyway, this is sort of a I wrapped this around and clipped it on. And in any of these journals, there's plenty of empty spots to add to and write in. And then also, because things are paper clipped in addition to gluing, but the paper clipping allows the recipient to rearrange things and move things around and just, really make this journal their own. This is another one. I just picked up this scrapbook from Miami, and this was one of the postcards in there, which I thought was beautiful, from Hollywood, Florida. Hard to part with, but you can't keep everything, can you? So, and as usual, there's my uneven pages that I love to do. It's a little tuck spot thing here. Little glassine envelope with tickets in it. I tea-stained a bunch of those recently. So this is a tag I made using scraps and a napkin and wrapping things around. All kinds of really beautiful forms throughout that all have to do with the various railways in the United States. I made this into like a little journal tag. You could write on the blank side there. Poke it out at the top. It's that same striped fabric, which reminded me of overalls. Then I also picked up these patterns really cheap for men's clothing, and I liked that checkerboard shirt. Kind of fit the whole masculine vibe of the railway. Another photograph, a little photo postcard. Tag, text spot, blank page for journaling. So, and then I picked up this fabric and I tea-stained it to give it a more vintage look, but I love the little children's railway vibe there. It's kind of cute. An envelope that you could remove and put stuff in, postcard. And I'll put my little tag there so that whoever buys this knows where to purchase again, but there it is. The Ghost Train, just in time for Father's Day. So if you're interested, send me a message. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.